Wifey in the bay going crazy. Put peace on the hood, Mercedes. Young boys letting off 80. Leaning next to a DR like Haiti. This ain't no Porter, no Bailey. No internet clown gon' play me. Money ain't never gon' make me. I can win with a couple bucks like Brady. And she ain't baby, you cannot shame me. What they gon' pay me to shut my mouth? Ain't gotta okay me, then they gon' save me. I'm finna stay free on the house.
But can we speak to like, I don't know how like deep y'all want to get. I'm asking this question in light of some of the intimate conversations we have. So if y'all don't want to go there, you can just edit this out. But you talking about how marriages work. Nobody talks about how sex that serves both parties is work. And I feel like if you're going into sex only thinking about your own desires, of course you go in, do what you want to do, get out, you have a good time.
Get in,
but
out.
But again, if you're trying to reflect this heart of serving our spouse, nobody talks about what it looks like to serve your spouse in sex. That and it takes work to serve your spouse in sex, right? Yeah. But when you think about sex, you don't think work. Maybe positions and stuff like that, but like nobody actually thinks about what does she want? What does he want?
Even you're thinking about positions you like. You know, you're not even thinking about what positions does she like.
I don't know how deep y'all want to get, but
can
you speak to that?
You're trying to get monetized, right?
But yeah, sex is work, not just marriage.
I mean, just from the guy's perspective, like one thing that you don't really think about is foreplay. Like I don't think foreplay is as big. I mean, like you enjoy it, but how much it matters more to the woman, warming her up. And and a lot of like married sex, like it starts off like earlier in the day, like how you speak to her. Huh? Like text,
like the morning text.
You know, you're putting it in an oven, you're warming it up. You know what I mean? Like it's a whole day process in terms of like just preparation, and then even just like while you're in the act of it as well, it's things like that. You would rather just get straight to it and, you know, have your own satisfaction out of it. But knowing, okay, sometimes like sex is work because there's parts of it that I'm doing for her that I might not be fully invested into, but I enjoy because she's enjoying it. You know what I mean? So it's like this place of like, oh, I'm working. But like this, if I was just being selfish, this is not what I would be doing right now. Like I wouldn't be lighting candles and, you know, getting the room ready.
We gotta get the candles, the music.
I'm trying to go to bed.
Put us in game. Come on.
Yeah. But it's I think when Sam was talking, like the thought that I had was, I'm glad that God calls this gift self-control and not just self-denial. I think when you define it as self-control, you're controlling it towards healthier avenues of service rather than just suppressing something and denying its existence. And so as a single, as a married person, controlling isn't just merely, oh, no, don't think about that. Push that down, suppress it, deny it, like, you know, don't live authentically. It's, man, spend like, or gear this towards and guide it towards something of healthy. So like as you're single, like you have all this time, all these advantages, use that self-control instead of constantly dwelling in like the weight and like the desire and the lust and the flesh. Like use the opportunities of singleness just to serve the Lord. Like work out, start a business, get financially ready. Like, you know, like invest in yourself so that you are the person that you want to end up with in the future. You know what I mean? Like characters and values that you can invest towards that. Man, like once you get married, you're not just hoping, man, my wife's gonna be a prize, but you know that you're a prize. Right, like you're putting something into it. And then if we want to transition into like marriage and how self-control is like,
before you get on that, hold that thought, because like I think you just brought up something essential as we're talking about sex being work and it's a service. You know, one of the ways in which you can prepare yourself for sex, I think our culture has a fascination with positions and, you know, size and all of that thing. We'll just be real. I think what we need to prepare ourselves is like, how well do you serve your neighbor? How well do you serve your church? Like, if you want a great sex life, you got to look at the way you serve those around you, because it's a muscle that you're practicing, right? It's a heart posture. Before it's a playlist, it's a heart posture. Before you light a candle, it's a heart posture, right? Before you like the game is on point, it's a heart posture to even get you to that. And I feel like we don't talk about that enough. Like, if we're gonna go into sex with this heart posture of how can I serve this person, then what other areas in your life do you serve others, right? Like, how could you serve your spouse all the days of your life if you don't even know how to serve people you see once a week?
one thing you see biblically is like a good measure of like the quality of a husband or a wife is you pay attention to how well do they serve people. Like I think why Rebecca is so prized in the Bible of like this example of a godly woman is like how she was serving Abraham's servant before she was even offered as a wife. Like this virtue of this is who she is without you, Isaac. This is the like the value that she brings in. And so even as single people dating and desiring a spouse, like if you want to know what your sex life is going to look like, it's not oh man, I gotta taste the ice cream before I buy the cow. Like this mentality of like
Somebody's like, hold up, wait a minute.
Like, people in our culture, they're like, oh, like, man, I got to know the
test drive the
sex is
car.
going to be good. I got to test this out. Like, but it's like, no, sex just gets better with time and practice. Like, regardless of who you're with, like, the more that you do something, the more practice you put into it, it gets better. There's hope, right? Like, but
There's hope.
there's hope, yeah. Like I think as like we're like, oh man, I'm a virgin. Like I'm gonna mess up the first night. Like you will, and it's okay. Like your honeymoon doesn't have to be like a porno or like this like huge like thing of you know what I mean. Like it's something that you grow into, that you enjoy, that you get better at. But I think one way that you can tell like what they're going to bring into the bedroom is the character that they bring into the bedroom as well. You study that and like, oh, they're really good at serving people. That means they're going to be good at serving me, like and there's so much more to just the physical sexual aspect.
Sammy's got a thought.
And like I have two things. Okay. And to add to that, like you're learning how like however you're pleasing her, like it wasn't the same that you pleased other women in your life, like you had to learn her and how she feels, how she feels good, whatever. So like it takes a lot of work.
You have to know your neighbor to love them.
Yeah.
Touching the meal like this ain't clout. This isn't real life. I got a real life. Price is better and it ain't no doubt. I ain't got time to debate. There's countries to save. Afghanistan, Cuba, I pray.